G'day and welcome to The Tennis for our AO Rewind episode. Today we're going to be winding back the clock and the tape and reliving some of the great moments from the first Grand Slam of the year. From the great on-court battles to some of the emerging stars of AO 2025 and everything in between, enjoy this episode as we hit rewind on Australian Open 2025. What better place to start than with one of the most highly anticipated quarterfinals in recent memory. On day 10, 10-time champion Novak Djokovic took on a young man with his own claims on being the best player of his generation, Carlos Alcaraz.
And now Alcaraz got the middle of the court. Cross-court forehand from Djokovic. Alcaraz, a looping ball. Djokovic, big forehand up the line. Cross-court backhand from Alcaraz. Up the other line, Djokovic. Cross-court forehand into the net from Alcaraz! It is one of his greatest performances we've seen on this court. Novak Djokovic, 37 years of age, 10-time champion. Now shows exactly why he has dominated on this court for so long and continues to do so. His 12th semi-final appearance at Melbourne Park. Age is certainly not wearing him. You keep knocking him down. You keep throwing the challenges at him, and he keeps rising to the occasion. He is some athlete. The best we've seen. 4-6, 6-4, 6-3, 6-4. 3 hours and 37 minutes over Carlos Alcaraz. Novak Djokovic, AO25 semi-finalist.
And he walked over to Andy Murray and just hugged at him and roared at him.
It was thanks to a Grand Slam first at Australian Open 2025 that Murray and Djokovic's other coaches, plus a select few from the Djokovic camp, could be right there on the court, just metres from the baseline. And we also heard from Conchita Martinez and her protege Mira Andreeva about the new initiative.
It's great because we can get closer to the players. We have a really good view from there. Some of the big arenas, I feel like the coaches are far away, so now that it's allowed to talk a little bit or coach a little bit, I think it's a great thing to have.
Such a brilliant finish. She liked it as well.
I hear everything she says and it's not really what I want. No, but if we're serious, then yes, of course it's better because she can also tell me stuff that, well, obviously I need, because if she talks, it means something's wrong.
For us, it's great to be actually at the end of the court. I mean, I can really see the match well.
Her being closer, I feel like it's a good innovation. When I don't want to hear anything, I just don't come there. And I think she understands, and so after she doesn't talk, but then as soon as I come to the towel, of course she sees that, well, I'm there, then it means that maybe I want to hear something, and she starts talking.
She sees the good energy, and sometimes it's just come on, reassuring that she's doing good.
And it's an opening win in Melbourne for Mira Andreeva.
There was one name on fans' lips more than just about any other at AO 2025, Danielle Collins. The Australian Open runner-up from 2022 this year took on Aussie qualifier Destiny Iava in the second round. And while most of the parochial Aussie crowd were in Iava's corner, well, the Danimal responded the only way she knows how.
Collins backhand cross. Iava digs it out, but it's into the net. And Danielle Collins, oh, she's got some attitude. Oh my! Listen to this crowd. She's blowing kisses to them. She says, great match. And I don't think any hostility between the two players, but Collins giving it to this Aussie crowd, and she's walking right to them. More kisses blown and applause. Oh, this is fantastic. Oh my! She just kissed her hand and then smacked her rear. Wow!
She's enjoying winding them up here.
She's got a big smile on her face. I love it, she says.
Now, we'll have to stay for the on-court interview.
Yes, we are.
Danielle, congratulations. That was a roller coaster of a ride.
Yeah, I mean, destiny. I was thinking during the match, I was like, if I'm out here, I might as well just take that big fat paycheck. And Coco and I we love a good 5-star vacation. So part of that check is going to go towards that. So thank you guys. Thanks for coming out here and supporting us tonight.
How did you find the crowd during the match, and tell us about the reaction at the end?
I loved it. I've been doing this my whole life, and I love playing in a crowd that has energy, regardless of what side they're on. And I'm somebody too, it kind of just motivates me even more. So it's kind of a good thing, especially when I'm not playing that well. So I think it really helped me in the end, and just helped me concentrate more and challenged me at times, and just, pushed me kind of through the finish line. I was really happy too, in the end, when I finally got momentum, I'm like, well, if I'm going to be out here for 2.5 hours and putting up with all these people, I might as well just take the bigger paycheck, right?
AO25 will forever be remembered for the emergence of the ATP next generation. Remember the names: Joao Fonseca, who eliminated the 3-time quarterfinalist Andrei Rublev in the first round, or Jakub Menzik, who took care of the 6th seed Casper Ruud in the second round. And of course, the fairytale story of the tournament, learner Tien, who will forever be remembered for moments such as this one against Daniil Medvedev on day 5.
Extraordinary what this tournament produces each and every time. Learner Tien, the 19-year-old, match points. He serves down the middle, picked up by Medvedev. It's an on ball! Unreal! It is the marker of resilience and bravery beyond his years.
So much composure.
Tien, composure right to the very last. He has beaten Daniil Medvedev. What a performance from this American. 4 hours and 48 minutes. 6-3, 7-6, 6-7, 1-6, 7-6, 10-7 in the match tiebreak. Learner Tien, take a bow.
I mean, I was definitely hoping it wasn't going to go to a 5th set breaker. But, either way, just really happy to get a win. I know I made it a lot harder than maybe it could have been. But, whatever.
While plenty of new names sprung up for AO25, we also welcome back some familiar faces for the AO Legends Cup. Producer Alexia Mitchell met up with a few of the players. Here you'll hear from Sam Stosur, Andrea Petkovic, Eva Maioli, Marcos Bagdatis, Daniela Huntakova and Alicia Molik.
Who's been your favourite breakout performer here in Melbourne?
Breakout performer, let's go with Destiny.
Learner Tien. There were a few upsets. There were a few young American boys winning on the men's side. I have to say Svitolina beating Paulini the other day.
Fonseca.
Belinda Bencic.
Look, I've loved watching Kecmanovic. The fact Madison Keys is through, because I always felt like she's a player that can win multiple slams. And now we're finally seeing some of the best of her. Breakout player. Emerson Jones, it's been great to watch her play at this level too, and she's more than worthy of it.
Alicia Molik there with glowing praise for Madison Keys, who at that stage of the tournament had just reached the quarterfinals. Well, she went on to the semifinals just days later, where we would witness a pulsating 3-set battle with Iga Swiatek.
What a match we have coming up. Iga Swiatek up against Madison Keys.
My whole goal, no matter what, win or lose, I followed the game plan.
Keys with a terrific start.
This match was long, so it had many different changes of momentum.
It's a good set of tennis. Iga Swiatek halfway there.
I didn't want to have any regrets for not really laying it all out there.
All things getting interesting now.
In the second set, Madison was great with her decisions and she pushed me.
And we're going the the distance.
The way that the match happened, where it was, you know, such a close one and so hard fought.
So it's match point for Iga. Not done just yet.
It just kind of feels like everything is happening very quickly.
Heartbreak here for Swiatek. It's first to 10.
I would be lying if I said that there wasn't doubts.
Can you believe that volley?
I kind of just kept telling myself, just try to get the next point.
The win of her life, Madison Keys, is into the Australian Open final.
Just really proud of myself for that match.
Well, Keys kept building the momentum, and just 2 days later, she took on the two-time defending champion Aryna Sabalenka in the women's championship match. It was her first final since the 2017 US Open, but the Americans certainly made the wait worthwhile.
You kind of got the sense that they were both going to rise to the occasion, and they did. So I didn't think I was that surprised that it was going to be a very close third set, because Sabalenka played a lot better in the second. The serve was a big factor. I knew the serve was going to be a huge factor in the third, just because of how one-sided each set was in the serve, and so they both knew that. They both served better in the third set. But I think you could feel the tension, and I was feeling the tension. I mean, I was nervous for both. You didn't know what was going to happen. But I do think, I can't remember exactly what it was maybe 3-3, I want to say, in the third, that Madison started, I felt like, up to the pace even more. And that was one of the things that she was so proud of herself against Swiatek in the semifinals, was that she didn't back down. She wanted to either win or lose, but go down swinging. And that's what she did against Swiatek. It paid off, saved a match point. I think she forgot she had a match point against her, but that's how much she was in the moment, just knowing exactly what she needed to do. Because you can handle it when you go down swinging if you lose a match, that you gave it your all. And she remembered that semifinal at the US Open against Sabalenka, where she didn't do that, and that really hurt her. So she wanted to make sure she just backed herself, and she did it, and it paid off here.
Levi, your team has a metric called pressure points, which are either break points or the previous point leading to a break point.
Anything that can lead to a break point. Yeah, and Keys, talk about going down swinging. I mean, 8-2 in terms of pressure points. She was winning those very crucial points. Interesting though, like no break points until that final game. And I just thought that was pretty crazy. It was just neck and neck, holding comfortably. But you mentioned, your gut instinct was right. Her forehand speed, actually, she increased it. It's crazy. 127 in the first set, she got to 132 in the third set.
Yeah.
Like, she was really hitting that forehand hard.
Jill, just looking at the path to the final, where she's beaten the likes of Danielle Collins in the third round, a former finalist here in 2022, Elena Rybakina in the fourth round, former finalist here, and then Svitolina, Swiatek, the world number 2, and now the world number 1. It's hard to imagine a much more difficult path for someone to break through for their first major.
Yeah, very difficult, but that can only make you stronger, I think, as the tournament goes on. And also, I love that you brought up all these players, because a lot of them are very different styles, and I think she had to adapt so differently to, say, a Rybakina, to a Svitolina who's really consistent, to Swiatek who brings the heavy forehand. So there was a lot of different things that Maddie had to adapt to. And the fact that she could adapt is something that I think that's improved in her game. I think her defensive skills have gotten so much better. She's moving so much better along the baseline. But the fact that she's throwing in the slice as well. So it's not it wasn't all about bang, bang, bang all the time that we've seen maybe 7-8 years ago. She has different things that she can bring to the table to adapt to the different styles. And I think that helped her win the tournament.
Well, congratulations to Maddie Keys. Let's hear from the 2025 champion following her triumph, followed by the runner-up.
Finally kind of getting past that hurdle of the semifinals and getting back into a final and doing it the way that I did it, I just felt like this is my moment. I can absolutely do this. And I just wanted to run with that.
What are your thoughts on
the 10 kilos of silver that you've got here, and where will you put it in your house?
I've been getting a bicep workout carrying it around. It's been quite nice, actually. I'm absolutely going to make space for it in my house. I might have to have like spotlights on it so that everyone that walks in the house, it's the first thing that you see. But yeah, it's a pretty one. Yeah, it's a very pretty one.
I think when you get to the point of finals, it's trophy or nothing. Nobody remembers the finalist. And nobody put like next to the winner like a finalist name. So I mean, at this point, I go for titles, but of course I have to be. I have to be proud of myself with the finals, 3 finals in a row. That's something crazy, and I hope that next year I'll come back as a better player, and I'll hold Daphne one more time.
When Coco Gauff defeated Belinda Bencic in the 4th round, we all thought she was destined for a semi-final rematch against Aryna Sabalenka, and what a match that would have been. But Paola Badosa had other ideas, eliminating Gauff in the quarterfinals in straight sets. Well, a day earlier, Coco Gauff's father, Corey, joined Matt and Viv on the sit-down to speak about his experience in raising a superstar.
Have you had to sort of temper Coco's own expectations along the journey?
No, I don't have, I always try not to be a dream killer. I think our parents were probably dream killers because they always kind of went into everything with a, secondary, third plan. Mm-hmm. What's your backup plan? What's plan B? Well, I had one plan A, and plan B was to make sure plan A worked. And so, when we laid out kind of our plan and our future for her, she's where we thought she would be. She's if not, she didn't want it, then you can't push them to it. But because she wants it, then my job is to kind of clear out all the debris and all the obstacles and make sure she can get to what she's doing instead of having all these roadblocks. And you kind of see that with some of the people on tour even now that, roadblocks get in the way. They hadn't removed. They've had some missteps along the way, and their parents maybe have made some bad choices along the way. Not intentional, but, nevertheless, it was a choice that they probably made that kind of interrupted success or slowed down success. So you see that. And then, we try to be, try not be those parents that get in the way, but try to aid and abet the successful route that she's taken and kind of, give her room. I always tell parents at some point you got to lead from the back. And if you lead from the back, you're just kind of making sure the flock goes where it's supposed to go. And if they get out of line, then you got to step up and lead from the front, but just kind of make sure they stay within the lines that they can be successful.
Well, she is extremely successful. And if you look at where she is in her career now at just 20, she's already a Grand Slam champion, and she's now the world's highest paid female athlete. So her career already, if she was to stop right now, would be a success on so many metrics. So what's next? What's driving her?
You would think that would alleviate pressure for her, right? But
yeah,
it doesn't. You get a taste of more when you just want more. She wants more. Okay. And so, I'm not going to let her be satisfied. If your dream is here, then go get it. Yeah. Don't sit around and wait like that. Like for a parent to me, I'm like, if you stop tomorrow, you got generational wealth on your own. Your great grandkids will see some of the finances that you've been able to produce for them. But if she played for the money, she probably wouldn't be playing that so well. So right now she's not playing. She plays for the love of it. And now I think it's important to make money. Obviously, that's a byproduct of being successful in sports and being a superstar. But, trying to make a difference in people's lives, I think the thing that she wants to do most is to try to make a difference. And whether she does that financially or by her presence or by supporting a cause, I think that's one of the next steps that she wants to be a part of, the global culture or a national culture or ethnicity in her culture to make a difference in people's lives.
It can't be easy being a tennis parent at times and watching from the sidelines. We remember Coco's run to the US Open title in 2023, and there was one point where you left the court and you got nervous, I think, as I understand it. How are the nerves these days? What's it like watching?
It still gets a little nerve-wracking. This is the first time, so I've been doing this so long, I wouldn't attend her matches in the juniors. Right. Because, it could get contentious when you're the dad and the coach and you have an opinion about how you should play and need to play. And they often look to you for something expression or reaction. And so, I started thinking about it, and, it can never be about the parents. And I know some parents try to be out front, even some coaches try to be out front. It can't be that way for them to be successful. So, what I decided, and I talked to my wife, I said, you know what? I feel like when I'm sitting in her box and I can't help but coach, that's a dad, right? I'm going to say something or I'm going to do something. And it's all with good intent. But sometimes it can be bad. And I started to realize that and say, you know what? I feel like because I am very reactionary when I play sports and when I watch sports, even when I coach my son's basketball team, I walk the sidelines, I talk to the rest. So I'm very engaged into the process. And so I thought that, I think that maybe my emotions and my energy is probably costing her a few points, costing her a little bit of intensity and focus. So if I remove myself from that, then maybe we get 4 or 5 points back that we don't get, and maybe she wins. And so it ended up being successful. We tested it that summer. Like, I didn't go to the DC tournament before the US Open. Okay. So I went to the prep before, and then I removed myself away. Then I went back the next tournament to Montreal, and I sat and watched. She lost in the quarterfinals. I said, well, shit, it's me.
But you don't want that to be the case, right?
Hey, that's okay. If me not being there means my kid can be successful, then I don't need to be there. I'm okay with that.
Okay.
And so I said, it might be me. So then I just kind of took this position that I'll do all the things leading up to, I'll still do scouting reports. I'll still give her feedback from that way. But then when it's time to go play, it's your show. I don't want it to be about me. It's to be about you.
With a party-like atmosphere as always, the AO once again delivered on its promise to be bigger and better than ever before. Like it has been almost every year, the attendance record was once again broken with 1.2 million fans through the gates of Melbourne Park. And our producer Harper Pesninger went to ask some of the fans the tough questions.
We know Novak Djokovic would beat pretty much anyone here at tennis, but if you were going head-to-head versus Novak at anything you want, what are you going to beat Novak in?
Oh gosh, I would definitely beat Novak at an informational interview. I'm a recruiter, and so I think I could definitely interview his socks off.
Oh, I'm really good. Basketball free throws, he'd be done. He can't post up, that's for sure. There's no way. I reckon I could get it. He's got the height, but I reckon I got the jumpers.
Got the hops.
Yeah.
Oh, Guitar Hero on the PlayStation.
Look, I reckon he spends all his time playing tennis, so I'll do a quick 1v1 in Fortnite.
20-metre sprint in high heels.
I've seen Novak in high heels. I don't want to say where or how. A man can move.
I got him.
Nah. I reckon I could beat him doing a backflip just on the floor. I've never tried it, but I don't reckon he has either.
Painting. Any sort of arts, I'm okay at art, so doing any sort of painting, I think I could possibly win.
Table tennis.
You think so? You reckon his skills don't transfer to the table?
I think I'm good, and yes, I would like to see him, if he can manage to win.
I'd back you in, Greg, for sure.
Putting makeup on, competition, see who looks the best with it on,
You wouldn't rate Novak in drag?
He does have the figure for it, but no, I think I'm pretty positive in my case as well.
With excitement building after Novak's quarter-final upset over Carlos Alcaraz, Day 13 saw a tantalising semi-final matchup against Alexander Zverev. But experts and fans came out of the match with more questions than answers about the future of Djokovic's career, as we discussed on the Tennis Spotlight.
Now, today we saw what looked like it was going to turn into one of the great epic men's semi-finals. A first set that went for some 80 minutes and ended in very quick circumstances when Novak Djokovic first made an unforced error into the net on the volley, and no sooner had he done so than Alex Zverev wins the tiebreaker and Novak Djokovic pulls the pin. So 7-6 was all we saw.
I think this is it. This is it. It's over. Can you believe it?
I think you were halfway down into the commentary booth and you didn't even realise what was happening.
So Peter Mercato and I were just coming down the stairs. We'd watched this unbelievable first set, so competitive. Almost an hour and a half for one set of tennis. It'd gone all the way to the tiebreak, so we're making our way down. We literally missed 2 points, and by the time we got to the commentary booth to see Steve Pearce and Kate Kearns, the match was over. It was shock, and you could see by Alex Zverev's reaction when he was sitting down, he was in shock. And he just got going. What a shame, I think, for everybody in the crowd, for Novak, for Sasha. Of course, Sasha is so happy to be in the final, having played just one set, because he's going to feel relatively fresh. But no one wanted it to end like that.
So what insights could we glean then from the minimal data that we have from the first set? Where was this match heading?
Well, you mentioned the struggles that Novak was having in terms of first serves landing in the court. I think he was down at 54% of first serves in play throughout that opening set. But really, once the points did become extended, and we saw a lot of them, it was trouble for Novak. So we know with our naked eye what we thought we saw in terms of the movement not being as explosive. But when the rallies got extended to 5+ shots, it was 26 for Zverev and 16 for Novak. So he put a margin of 10 on him in those lengthy exchanges. When it was short, Novak's right there. So serve and return, 26-23 Novak's favour. So that wasn't auguring well from the perspective of Novak, as Candy says, thinking about what's going to be required to get this done now in 4 or 5 sets. I've got another 3 or 4 or 5 hours in front of me of that type of physicality, and I just think it was a bridge too far for Novak.
Well, he was asked the question whether this might be his last Australian Open, and here was his response.
I don't know. There is a chance. Who knows? I'll just have to see how the season goes, and I want to keep going, but whether I'm going to have a revised schedule or not for the next year, I'm not sure. I normally like to come to Australia and play, and I've had the biggest success in my career here. So if I'm fit, healthy, motivated, I don't see a reason why I wouldn't come, but there's always a chance. Yeah. If I won the first set, maybe I would try, a few more games, half a set, maybe a set, I don't know. But it was getting worse and worse. So I knew even if I won the first set, it is going to be a huge uphill battle for me, to stay physically fit enough to stay with him in the rallies, for another, God knows what, 2, 3, 4 hours. I don't think I had that, unfortunately, today in the tank.
The retirement of Djokovic paved the way for a men's championship decider featuring the top 2 seeds in Melbourne for the first time since AO 2019, Novak versus Nadal. This time around, Alexander Zverev was the second seed, winless from his first 2 major final outings, against Jannik Sinner, the top seed, who was 2 from 2.
128 men wanted to be here on Championship Sunday, but there are just 2 men who can realise that dream tonight. Will it be third time lucky for the world's second best player, Alexander Zverev, who is through to his 3rd major final? The defending champion, Jannik Sinner, is looking for his 3rd consecutive hardcourt major title. He is the world's best player.
On hardcourt, I feel more comfortable now. I think we can see.
Well, this is good stuff, isn't it? No other way to describe it.
I really thought I had a very good chance because I was feeling good.
Yeah, that was pretty special. But Jannik resists the firepower from the German, and he makes the first move. And the heir to the Big Four's crown takes the opener against Zverev.
When you get up, 1 set, this gives you, the confidence.
He's the best player on hard courts right now, and it's as simple as that.
It's not a bad approach shot, but not bad doesn't get it done against Sinner.
Tiebreak, got a bit lucky there, but how I handled every situation on the court, not only today in the final, but in general, was very nice.
Both at their brilliant best, and it's the best sport in the world. Precise, perfect and powerful, and that is Sinner all over.
I don't want to end my career as the best player of all time to never win a Grand Slam, that's for sure.
Since 1973, Sinner could become the first player tonight to claim 10 consecutive straight sets wins over ATP top 10 opponents.
The facts speak for themselves. He's in a different universe right now to anyone else.
It didn't have pure sizzle, but it just had enough. And the dejection is obvious on Zverev's side of the court.
Yeah, I mean, today he completely outplayed me.
It was an amazing performance from my side.
It's a second for Sinner down under. It's a third major, and he was quite simply unstoppable.
Amazing run again here in Australia. I'm extremely happy, and sharing this with the team here and family and the people I love. It's amazing.
To finish up, one of the most heartwarming stories of AO25 was undoubtedly from Evelise. She was a lucky loser who was supposed to be on the plane back home, but she stuck around, she forfeited her plane ticket, and she got the call 5 minutes before her first round match with Kim Birrell. She ended up beating Birrell, then Gracheva, and then Christian to book her spot in the 4th round. That was all before this magical viral moment with Lockie Wills.
But I'm incredibly happy.
Yeah.
How am I supposed to feel? I'm
420 grand. 4th round, 420 Australian dollars. So that's about 210 euros, 210,000 euros. Did you not know that? Oh shit, were we rolling? We could have got a natural reaction. Yes! Boom! That's good. That's a viral moment. Let's publish.
Jesus Christ, I didn't know.
You didn't know?
No.
As if no one's brought that up.
Because I've never went that far in a tournament. I'm just looking at the quality numbers.
That's the story. Like you gone from flying, like maybe fly back, maybe not, to 420 grand.
That's insane.
Amazing.
That is insane.
Yeah.
That's a number I have never even heard in my life. So it's
now you're rich.
You can't script moments like that. A wonderful piece of footage from our team, and great to have Evelise as one of the shining lights of AO 2025. Well, that brings to an end our AO Rewind for this year. Trust you've enjoyed all of those moments from throughout the tournament, and you've had some time to rest after what's been a hectic Australian Open. Once again, a reminder that we're now on YouTube, so if you're listening to this episode on your podcast app, you can watch the full episode in its video glory on Australian Open TV. And be sure to hit the bell so you never miss an episode throughout the year. And I'll catch you next week for more of the tennis.